Alright, what is going on, everybody on YouTube? Griffin here, coming back to you guys with another live stream from the Millennial Motivation Entrepreneur YouTube channel. First and foremost, if you're new to the channel, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button below if you want to join an awesome community of like-minded individuals with one goal, which is, of course, achieving financial freedom in 2019 and beyond. And while you're at it, definitely check out our totally free Discord group chat that's down in the description box. It should be one of the first couple links down there, and if you have any issues signing up, definitely just shout me out in the comments or in the chat at any point. But with that being said, we'll just go ahead and hop right into it. So we're going to be talking a lot about oil today, just because it's kind of setting up as a pretty intriguing trade for looking at it more or less near the later half of the week, maybe even early next week, but for sure a long-term play. Mostly because I'm looking at Gush and Drip. Of course, Gush and Drip has been one that I've been trading really ever since I started trading within the last year or two, and Gush has obviously been getting just hammered along with oil over the last, about 3 months or so now, 2 to 3 months, going on 4 months now. You can see Gush had dropped all the way down under $6 a share, which would have been an awesome buy at the time. At this time, I was not really trading at all. I had the health issues and whatnot going on. I was taking a break from everything, but if you had gotten in around $6, you're definitely doing pretty well right now, but it's setting up for a potential good long-term play. When we look at it, I'm looking at it from the hourly chart standpoint. I like kind of how it's setting up here. It's setting up right around that $10.50 between 10:30 and 10:50. It's setting up as a good little support on the 1 hour chart. You can see also multiple times it touched right around 10:50, 10:40 again, somewhere around there, and it got saved every time. So it's setting up for a good little support right around $10 for a good entry point between 10 and 10.50 essentially. So, and you can see, of course, it was down over 5% on the day. It's going to be interesting. I'm watching oil futures obviously too. Oil futures are down slightly right now. They opened up a little bit at the beginning of the new business day or whatever. After hours trading, you can see on the 1 day 1 minute, it dropped all the way down to 51.33 earlier this afternoon, or I guess that was this morning actually, around 10:30 this morning Central Time. And then we came up to about 52, little over 52, but it kept getting rejected just above 52. So 52 is kind of a resistance right now. However, I do think we're going to find some support right in between, I would say 51.50 and 51.75. I think Clint, actually, I don't know if you're watching yet, Clint, I don't even know if we're online. Yeah, we are online. Okay. Hopefully stream's doing all right too, but I think he even called it out in our Discord group chat. I saw it right before we went on that he also thinks that we're setting up a good little support right around, at least for today, the last day or so, right around 51.50, 51.75 as a pretty solid support. But it'll be interesting to kind of watch overnight and see where it opens up tomorrow. Again, looking at that 1 hour chart, we can see oil futures, pretty solid support. Again, right around that this is showing about 51.25 to 51.50. So I mean, pretty close. You got about a 50-cent range. You could say 51.25 to 51.75 if you wish. Right now we're right around 51.90. So obviously, Foresight CO is the oil futures, and that obviously goes, when we look at our 1 year 1 day, it goes pretty much hand in hand with Gush as well as XOP. If you don't want to trade something so volatile, I would definitely suggest going with XOP. You can see it was only down about 1 3/4% today, where Gush at one point was down like 6%, maybe even 7. I think at one point it was down about 7% today, ended up down over 5%. So if you don't like volatility quite as much and you want to take a little bit of risk factor out of it, then by all means go to XOP. But why I like how Gush is setting up right now is because I think long term it's going to test right around $25 to $30. It's going to have to break through the resistance around 20 to 21 first. But even then, say you got in around $10, which is about my target buy price, 10 to 10.50. If you could get it under, that would be awesome. I just think it's going to be hard to. But if you can get in between $10 and $11, and say you just wrote it up, say you got in at 10.50, and you just decided to set your sell limit at $20 even, let's just say right around 20, that's an 89%, 89 to 100% return essentially on your money. And then if you wanted to hold this long term, because I am in the boat that I think we're probably going to reach right around $30 on this long term going into later half summer, traveling season and whatnot. We're talking probably, June, July, somewhere in there between June and August. I do think this is going to hit around $30 personally, between 20 and 30. So let's say you sold it around, let's say 25, even $26, $25, 150% return. If you hold out all the way to 30 and it does reach 30, 185 to 200% return. So I mean, it's setting up for a very, very good return on your money. Now, obviously, is this guaranteed? No. Obviously, oil could just dump some more over the next few weeks. The market could, and we could see oil hit $40, $20, something like that a barrel like we did a couple years ago. I just don't think that's going to happen. It just seems like now everything's setting up for there to be more cuts in oil supply, which obviously is going to mean higher oil prices, at least medium to long term. And we're definitely setting up a very good support right around 50, at the bare minimum $50. So with that being said, I do think overall oil is a very good vehicle to potentially make some very good money this year. Like I said, is anything guaranteed? No, nothing's guaranteed, but I definitely have a very good feeling. And the reason why I'm saying that, why I'm holding out on Gush right now, is I'm looking at the 1 year, 1 day chart, of course, and I always like to look at my indicators. Our RSI, I'm not too worried about. It's the MACD. MACD's been showing, obviously, we've been having some good buying for the last, 1 to 2, 3 weeks now, and now it's starting to show a little bit, not so much. Does that mean we're going to go into selling? Not necessarily, but I think we are going to see just a little bit of selling. That's why I'm saying if I can get it for around $10 or even less, that'd be awesome, but I'm not going to buy this until around $10. It might not seem like a huge difference, 95 cents, but I mean 95 cents is almost, close to a 10% difference. So, I mean, it's a huge difference whenever you're talking big quantity. Obviously, with this, I'd probably look at maybe buying around 100 shares, maybe something like that. You're looking at around $1,000 position, and if I get this for, like I said, around $10, like I'm hoping to do, and my target sell is around 30, so I sold that around 30. Like I said, I'm talking roughly a 200+% return on my money. So you're talking turning it into like $3,000 or something like that. I don't know, 2 to 3, somewhere around there. Who knows? I mean, maybe even more. But definitely a good setup for multiplying your money, to say the least, 2 to 3x. And who knows? I mean, who knows? Obviously, it could go clear back up to $40 or $50. If that happened, awesome. I'm not going to be greedy or anything. Once I hit my target sell, I'm definitely going to take at least some position off, right? Because you'd be nuts not to. But if it looks like oil's just going to keep going, you might as well hold a little bit of that position and see how much you can squeeze out of it, right? But let me see how we're doing on our stream. We got 3 of you tuning in. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the stream so far. If you are, definitely make sure to smash that like button. I greatly appreciate that. And if you have any questions, as always, that's what that chat box is over there for. It's not there just for looks. If you have any questions, comments, or any ticker symbols, anything like that, definitely always feel free to shoot those out in that chat box there, and I'll definitely be looking at it pretty frequently. But I really do like how Gush is setting up. I really wish I could have got in around $5, $6, because, man, if I could have got in even at 6 to 7, I mean, that would be such a huge return on your money. Say you got in just above $7. You hold this thing long term to 30. I mean, I'm super confident that it's going back to 30. 319% return on your money. I mean, that's just nuts. And we're talking like within this year. I'm not saying like 2 years, 10 years, anything like that. We're talking like within probably the next 6 months. So, I mean, just do the math on that. I mean, I'll get my calculator on my phone just because it's quicker. I mean, say you got that 300% return on your money in roughly 6 months. You're talking 50% return average per month. So, I mean, that's just awesome returns, in my opinion. Of course, you could go look at, like, actual oil stocks, like ExxonMobil. you're just not going to get the best returns, because obviously it's not going just based on the price of oil. There's tons of other things factored in. I'm not a big fan of like buying actual oil company stocks like Royal Dutch Shell, ExxonMobil, anything like that. How's it going there, Trade Doc? I like the Gush play. Make some more conservatives with options in order. If you're wanting to do like something more conservative when it comes to oil, that's where you'd want to hop over to XOP. XOP moves identically to Gush, if I'm understanding your question right. XOP is another oil-based ETF. It moves just like Gush. As you can see, their charts are just about identical. Not 100%, of course, but pretty damn identical. And you can see the difference. This went down a little under about a 1 3/4% today, where Gush went down, of course, over 5%. So if you're looking for something a little bit less volatile, XOP would definitely be a good play. And XOP, I believe, if I remember right, they have weekly options as well if you're into the weeklies and whatnot, where I believe Gush, they have monthly, if I recall, or like bi-weekly, something like that. I know they don't have like every few days or once a week weekly options. I know it's like at least 2 to 4 weeks out. But XOP was one that I played quite a bit whenever I was trading options heavily. But I'm looking more at Gush kind of as like a long term. I'll be kind of just throwing a little bit of money in it, as long as it obviously looks, the outlook is still good. Like I said, I'm kind of just holding out right now because my MACD, obviously you don't want to go solely based off indicators when investing, trading, anything like that. But my RSI, honestly, I'm not really taking it into too much consideration right now, but my MACD is starting to show some weakening, so that could obviously mean we're due for another pullback, slight pullback. If this thing could somewhat, if it could like maybe form a double bottom right around $6-7, then that would be awesome too. I mean, get it even at a cheaper price. But honestly, again, if I can get this for $10 or cheaper, I'll probably start adding some position to that, because I plan on holding this again for like 6 months, maybe even longer, but at least at the minimum probably 4 to 6 months. So but hopefully that kind of answered your question, Trade Doc. I'm going to do my homework, planning to ride oil to 42. Where's oil at right now? I think oil's at like 51, 42. So you think it's probably going to double bottom too? Because I'm thinking that you're thinking it's going down. So yeah, I mean, if it goes down to 42, that would definitely be a double bottom forming. However, part of me feels like they're going to hold it above 50 for some reason. I think I mentioned this on the Sunday Stock Watch, that I do think overall oil's due for a slight pullback again. You can even see it on our MACD indicator on this as well, starting to show signs of weakening. I don't know necessarily if I think it's going to go all the way down to 42. If it breaks 50 though, then by all means it could definitely slide down to $45 to $42, which would be awesome. Like I said, I would add more position, because if it goes down that far again, we'll almost have a classic double bottom, which I would then just ride for a pretty long time. I do not think though long term, going like to our 3-year chart, I don't think we're going to 20s or anything. You can see that this 42 to 43, let's just call it $43, has acted as a major support since 2016. So the last 2 or 3 years, it's been I don't know what that's for. Has been acting as a pretty damn solid support for about the last 2 to 3 years. You can see we hit it 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5, 6 times here in the last 2 or 3 years. So it's definitely a very solid support. And you can see on our 3-year, I mean, obviously the 3-year chart, your indicators aren't really going to mean a whole hell of a lot, unless if you're looking to invest really long term. But I mean, you can tell it's starting to show signs of some buying possibly coming in. But look at that weekly chart. We could possibly, if you're right, Trade Doc, coming down to around $42, $43, could definitely form an awesome double bottom, which would be an amazing buying opportunity. Okay, yeah, I get what you mean. But yeah, I mean, I'd be thrilled if it came all the way down to $42 again, because that'd mean an amazing buying opportunity for Gush, of course. I do like Gush long term. I mean, in all honesty, do I think it's ever going to come back up to like 67? I mean, it could, obviously. I mean, oil got how high at that point? So, Gush, let's look at our dates. Gush randomly hit, let's not even say 67, $60, hit $60 in December of 2016. That was when oil was at what price in 2016? Oil was around, let's see, right around $55 roughly. So that doesn't really make sense why Gush was that high, unless if they had a what was it, vertical split or whatever at some point, which I don't believe they did, but who knows. I mean, point being, I definitely see long term that this is going to hit $30 to possibly $40. 20 for sure. I think we'll hit 20 for sure, probably by early summer, May, June. And then if we can somehow break through, because there's going to be some very strong resistance right around that $20 mark, $18 to $20. But if we can break through to 21, then I think it's off to the races to $30 after that. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out over the next. February tends to be a pretty big month for oil. I know it was last year. That's when we had, we obviously had this huge drop off in oil and Gush specifically in late January, early February. And then February it kind of just had some very solid support, bouncing right around $20 to $25, and then bam, it legged up all the way obviously to like $45, $47 throughout summer, and then it had a ton of trouble breaking through that resistance, and then obviously we legged down even further. But yeah, I think 20 is no question, 30 strong possibility, 40 unlikely, but we'll see what happens. I definitely do like Gush and oil overall as a long-term investment, though. In my version of long-term, I keep throwing the term long-term investment out. My version of long-term is anything over 1 month. If I'm holding anything longer than 1 month, it's long-term. I know a lot of people think long-term is in 1 year, 5 year, 10 year. No, I'm not thinking about holding that this long at all. I don't like sitting my money in one place that long, because money becomes useless until it is used, essentially. So with that being said, it will be interesting to see what happens. But it was this month when Gush hit $7. When did it hit $5.90? I wonder. 180 day. Zoom in. We hit that back right around Christmas, huh? I actually remember that because I remember watching it on CNBC still. So it hit $5.90. That's crazy. So you've pretty much doubled your money already if you got in close to the low on Gush. So that's insane. But how are we doing still on our stream? We got 4 of you tuning in. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the stream. Like I said, if you have any questions or ticker symbols, definitely be sure just to shout them out there in the chat. But I mean, like I said, why am I like so focused on Gush and even XOP? Because they offer, it's just simple. Keep it simple, right? Like obviously Gush goes damn near hand in hand with oil. Like literally, as oil goes down, Gush goes down. As oil's going up, Gush is going up. So as long as you can follow the trends of oil, you'll be able to make money with Gush and Drip. By the way, I haven't even talked about Drip. I think Drip is going down, obviously, long term. Drip and Gush are inverse ETFs. So pretty much as Drip goes up, XOP will go down too. But Gush is going down. That's why you see Drip was up about 5% today. Gush was down a little over 5% today. However, I do think this is going down, obviously, because I see oil going up. However, once I reach my target my target sell on Gush, what am I going to do probably then? I'll probably start throwing some money into Drip, because Drip is probably going to come back down to $5 to $7 as well. So if I can buy Drip, if I can sell Gush at $20, $30, however much, between $20 and $30, and then I can buy Drip for $5 to $8, just to continuously make that money. Do I think Drip's going to return to $27.50 or anything like that? Probably not. We've had a pretty big drop in oil this year. I mean, obviously oil just had this huge drop. Everybody was rushing into stocks like DRIP, the bearish ETFs, when it comes to oil, and that's why you had that huge spike. Do I think that's going to happen? No. But I do think you could probably expect $15 to $20 out of DRIP. So, I mean, if I could still go from doubling, tripling, or possibly even quadrupling my money in Gush, and then just throw that stuff right back into DRIP and let DRIP rise and double, triple, possibly quadruple my money into DRIP, and just keep doing rinse, repeat, a few times every year, a couple times usually, 2 to 3 times a year. These things tend to have their swings. Why not play them, right? So, and I just understand them more than your UGAS, DGAS, or JNUG, JDST. I've tried trading all those inverse ETFs, but the oil ones I tend to just get the best, and the history just always seems to repeat itself every year. I mean, so yeah, we've had reverse splits and whatnot, but I go back to 1 year. So obviously this was when oil dropped back in 2018, and then, this is when oil dropped back in 2018, and then obviously as oil continued to rise, DRIP continued to fall all the way below $5, and then we had oil just take a huge hit, and now oil's starting to come back up. So what do you think is going to happen? It's probably going to continue to fall. So I mean, it's just pretty damn simple. That's why I like oil so much, because the trends, it happens every single year. We see 9 years out of 10, you're going to see oil fall, usually in fall, winter months, and then spring, summer months, oil's going to go right back up because there's a lot more traveling going on. Thus, there's more demand for oil. Oil's going to go up, and then obviously you have all the manipulation in the oil market with cutting barrels and all that stuff, imports, exports of all the countries and whatnot with OPEC and all that stuff. So you always got to take all that into account too. But I just like them a lot more because, like I said, with ExxonMobil, just too much going on. I mean, look at the chart of oil /CL, and then go over to XOM. I mean, are they similar? Slightly, yeah. I mean, obviously they're gonna have somewhat the same look to them, but I mean, overall, when I look at XOM and then I look at Gush, which has more opportunity, I have an opportunity to make like 300% on my money, or I have an opportunity to say I got this around 70, which you probably could easily, and then you sold at 75, you're looking at 8%. Or say you held out somehow and you got it up to 80, you're talking 15%. It's just a no-brainer in my opinion. I mean, you might catch a little dividend and stuff like that, but I don't know. It's just, I don't like investing in individual companies like that. There's no, like, I have to really love a company to want to invest in them or trade them even, but which I know a lot of people won't like that, like, keep your feelings out of it, but I like my money going into places that I actually like and whatnot, and I love Gush. Gush is awesome. Gush and DRIP are awesome ETFs that offer awesome rates of return if you get in at the right time and you don't panic sell. I guarantee you there were a lot of people panic selling today. People that bought this, pull up the 20-day chart, people that probably bought this somewhere on the rise when it was around $11, they probably had a limit set of like minus 2% or something. I know a lot of people that do stupid shit like that, a minus 2% automatic sell, and they panic sell. So that's why whenever you have people that set those sell limits where once their limit is triggered, that's when you're going to see a bunch of flushing. But that offers buying opportunities for us that are patient. So yes, I am going to be hopping into some Gush probably, I'm hoping sometime this week maybe, but for sure, I mean, I'm not going to chase it or anything like that. Like, if somehow I wake up and it's up to $12 tomorrow, oh well, I mean, it's not a big deal. I'll just wait until the pullback comes that I know should be coming. I do think this is going to come down to $10 or less probably sometime this week. If not, like I said, I'll just play the wait game, sit around and see what happens. And then if need be, I'll hop in and you guys will know whenever that happens. But check our stream one last time. So we got 4v2. It says an error occurred. Hopefully we are still live. Let me see. Shows that we are, but I don't know why it's saying that. It says that we're doing good. I guess if we have any issues, definitely just let me know. But I'll probably just go ahead and wrap the stream up on that note. But stocks to watch this week, obviously, Gush, Drip. If you're into ExxonMobil and stuff like that, ExxonMobil. And then obviously we're waiting to hear from Apple tomorrow, I believe. Correct? Yeah, tomorrow, after Shocker, at the closing bell. We heard from Caterpillar this morning, which had the same error, just had to refresh. Okay, hopefully it is doing well, but I apologize ahead of time. How's it going there, Josh, by the way? But hopefully the technical difficulties, hopefully it's a YouTube thing, because I do not believe it's not my streamer, because we're doing good there. So hopefully it might have just been a YouTube error or something. But yeah, Caterpillar, wow, they got smacked today, right? Down almost 10% on the day. Their earnings got crushed. From what I heard, the guidance wasn't very good either. I heard Nvidia also got smashed. Or it's NVDA, right? Yeah, Nvidia also got smashed, down a whopping 13-14% today. I think if I remember right, AMD got smashed as well. Not quite as bad, but down 8%. Their earnings is also tomorrow after the closing bell. So it's going to be tomorrow. Yeah, this week's going to be an interesting week. That's another reason why I think, I mean, obviously these have not much at all, obviously, to do with oil. But if you haven't been paying much attention, oil has been going down or up with the stock market for quite a while now. For the last, I would probably say the last 6 months, really, maybe even longer. Oil has been going up and down with the stock market. So if the stock market continues to drop, again, look for oil to possibly continue to drop. Thus, me getting very excited to hop into Gush, as well as maybe